fuck your mood, follow the plan. And it's basically like your mood should not be dictating what you want in life. Your mood is going to come and go. You're going to shift. If you don't feel like doing something, what is the plan? What is the end plan? What is your end goal? Do whatever gets you closest to that goal. And then you'll be proud of yourself. And then you're building up confidence. And then you're getting that dopamine kick and you're doing all the things.
Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off. I am Matt.
I'm Paige.
Are your feelings dictating your life? Are you waiting for the right feeling to come along before you make a change in life? Doesn't matter what that change is. Think about anything in your life right now. This could be career. This could be relationship. This could be a health and fitness journey, some entrepreneurial endeavor, homeschooling your kids. It doesn't matter. Are your feelings running the show? And if they are, they shouldn't be. And that's what we're going to talk. So many people stay stuck, whether it's in a bad relationship or a toxic cycle or an unhealthy habit, because they're waiting for the right feeling to come along. And they think that they'll know when the right time is to act. But feelings are unreliable. And we're going to discuss that today and what you can do about this. Evidence in our own lives, casting this idea aside that our emotions are in control of our actions. It's actually the other way around. It should be a fun one.
This is kind of a spinoff of my episode that I recently did on feelings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
From Paige's perspective.
Really good one.
And usually in our episodes, we validate, educate, and kind of empower you. This is going to be more, I think, along the recovery side on the veer with our veer.
Empowerment and recovery.
Yeah.
Empowerment and recovery. We're trying to motivate you here, even though it's about how motivation really isn't that good of a thing, but that's what we're going to do. Stick with us here. Hey, we've got a website, twfo.com. That's twfo.com, where you can find out everything you need to know about us. We've got a blog up there. We've got merch up there, sweatshirts and hats and stickers for water bottles like I've got right here. And some more stuff soon to be on the way. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. I thought you were showing the turtle sticker.
Oh yeah, we don't have the turtle sticker, but that's mine. He's so cute. He don't let me.
We've got a newsletter that comes out every Monday morning. Put your email address in. I will not spam you. It is, 3 to 5 minute read to get your week started. Some insightful thoughts. Sometimes, most of the time, it's just me rambling, but I think it's enjoyable. I hope you like it too.
Every time. You don't take compliments well. Your newsletter is amazing.
That's what it was about, actually.
Yeah, I know. This week it was.
The fact that I don't take compliments very well. We've also got Recovery Rocks. If you don't know what a Recovery Rock is, that's a Recovery Rock. It's got our logo on the front. On the back, it says, "Thank you for being my rock." It's a really cool way to show appreciation to someone that's walked through hell and back with you. Spouses and partners who've walked through recovery journeys usually don't get much recognition. When someone goes away to treatment or they're going through something, they're always asking about how they're doing, right? How's Jim Bob doing? Whoever.
What about the one that's holding down the fort?
No one's asking, how's your wife?
Nope.
How's your girlfriend doing? How's your fiance?
Or husband.
Yeah,
or boyfriend.
No one's ever asking those kinds of questions.
Nope.
That's a cool way to acknowledge that journey. Sell a lot of those things, and thank you for everyone that orders them. I think it's awesome to see the appreciation that's out there. I'm glad we could start that. We've also got a course, Independently Strong. It's a course that we built with a licensed therapist, Dr. Christopher Taylor. It's not just our take on what recovery is. It's research-backed, evidence-based. It's robust as well. It's got 10 different modules in it, everything from what is self-care, how to develop a healthy sense of self, what are boundaries, what is abuse, what is addiction, what's
trauma bonding,
what's the smoke screen, what's not. Yeah, trauma bonds. It's all in there. It's complete with exercises and videos. It's video based. It's at your own pace as well. We're not gonna make you show up every Tuesday like it's college class or something. It's at your own pace. Understanding you guys, you have life, you have kids, you have all kinds of stuff going on.
Yes,
but it's amazing. It's helped a ton of people. Right now, and I won't say forever, but for right now, there are also recovery meetings every Wednesday led by Paige or myself. For the foreseeable future, it's going to be Paige because we've got baseball now.
Yes.
So it's going to be Paige Wednesday evenings when available. And it's a place to discuss what you're going through in the course. It's a really great community of people who are healthy. These are people who are really working toward getting better. It's not always just event fest. It is people talking about actionable things that they've changed in their lives and ways that they've seen changes in their lives. It's incredibly inspiring and motivational. It's amazing. It's amazing. We've also got a sponsor for today's episode, SoberLink. Thank you to SoberLink.
Hold on. Use the code Wheelies75.
Oh yeah, you get 75% off that course. Back up.
Let's see that in an instant replay.
Right, record scratch. 75% off that course by going to independentlystrong.com, entering in Wheelies with an S, Wheelies 75 at checkout to get 75% off that course. Again, it's Wheelies 75 at checkout. Now, SoberLink. Thank you, SoberLink. Sorry to interrupt your ad here. If you don't know what SoberLink is a breathalyzer. It is a device that empowers people. It is also a device that gives people the truth. SoberLink has been an incredible partner of the show. I think it's kind of a weird partner for us, if I'm going to be honest, because we are about accountability and truth, and you don't need a million different ways to find out that someone is lying, but some people do, and we acknowledge that. And we've also seen people who have had a lot of success with the tool. It's amazing. It's a portable device that you can take anywhere you go. It's sleek. It's not cringy looking. You can't even tell what it is. It's great. It's high tech. It has military grade facial recognition technology so that you can be sure who is blowing into that device. And I think speaking on this, it's really used in two ways. First way I'll speak on is to rebuild trust and accountability. If you're someone who's struggled a lot with relapsing and it's been a really hard road to get trust back in your relationship, SoberLink can be a great way that you can do that. If you voluntarily tell your partner, spouse, whoever, hey, I'm going to be using this device. I'm going to sign you up as a sober contact. And you will know. We won't have to have these long discussions and let me smell your breath and, oh, you're slurring. That's kind of weird. You'll know because you'll have the data to prove it, and data that is 100% accurate. I mean, they know what they are doing. They have people that stand by 24 hours a day to review the data that comes in, right? Nothing gets by them. If something comes in strange, they know the difference between someone who has been drinking and someone who just sprayed cologne. They will ask you to blow again or retest again, and you will get that data. You will get that assurance that you've been asking for forever. And as this person who's trying to rebuild trust, you will have a way to show them from a third party, not just you and your word. Over time, it will rebuild trust. Another way that you can use this is in a custody battle. If you are going through a custody battle or agreement over children, I think it's essential. If you're around someone that you can't trust to be sober around your kids, driving around with your kids, and make sure your kids are in a safe place where there's a responsible adult around, get SoberLink. SoberLink is court admissible in all 50 states and in Canada and trusted by over 200,000 people. It is considered the gold standard in court. I wouldn't do any sort of a custody agreement when there's alcohol involved without it. It is a must. It is a must. SoberLink has given our listeners a $50 off coupon if you go to the website, soberlink.com/wheels. Again, it's soberlink.com/wheels. Just enter in your email address and they'll give you the coupon. And that concludes today's announcements. Let's get this thing going.
Yay!
All right. How'd you come up with this one, by the way?
I don't know. It's just kind of, I don't know. It kind of just popped up in my head recently. The past couple of weeks, I've just been really thinking a lot about feelings and feeling the feels and how people get trapped in feeling the feels. Myself included. I do this sometimes. I sometimes backtrack and do things where I'm like, ooh, I shouldn't be doing that because I know I need to be regulating my emotions and actually taking action instead of feeling my feels. It's important to feel your feels. Feelings are real, but they're not right always. We need to learn to question them. I think it's important for us to learn how to question them, because if we don't question them, we're going to be making decisions based on just how we feel all the time. And a lot of the times that's not going to get us where we want to go.
Why do you think it's so confusing for people to know when they can and can't trust their feelings?
Say that again.
Why do you think it's so confusing for people to learn how to trust their feelings and know when to act? The difference between the two?
Well, I mean, we kind of our culture used to be where you wanted to suppress your emotions, right? Like hold your emotions in, control your emotions. Don't say anything. You need to feel anything. And I think we've kind of gone way too far to the other side, to where we've been taught you need to feel your emotions, feel the feels, whatever you feel is right, and go with that and go with the flow with how you're feeling. If you don't feel like, if you feel like having a lazy day, have a lazy day. If you feel like, you don't want to work out, then don't work out. We've just been kind of coddled a little bit. And I think that we need to find the balance. And that's kind of what we're here for.
I heard this guy It was an episode of Modern Wisdom. I can't remember the name of the expert that he had on, but they were talking about emotions in general. Most of our audience is women. And in general, I would say women don't have too hard a time knowing what their emotions are. I'm not going to sit here and say anyone's perfect with them, but knowing what they are compared to a man. Men, our issue is often we don't know what the language of emotions even is, or how to decipher any of it. Or
Right. You were taught to hold them in.
How to translate it, right? But emotions are important because they are, as this expert put it, he said that they're essentially the data of your brain. It's what your brain is telling you about what is going on in your environment generally.
Right.
But as we will see, as we kind of walk through some examples today and some stories today and information, that information that comes from those emotions can sometimes go a little haywire, and it can sometimes feed us false realities. Or you can just get so stuck in the emotion itself that you waste 20, 30 years feeling your feels.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place to feel your feels. There's a time and a place to act.
Yeah. And a lot of the times our feelings are misguided. Like they're not completely accurate in the moment. And I've discussed this, how when I went through all of my crazy stuff 4 years after you got sober, I had a lot of anger that was like, oh, this is not, my life is great. Like I have no reason to be angry right now. So why am I angry? So I really did have to switch my thought process in order to get through that anger and realize that anger was not reality for me.
Is that a bit of a mind F?
Absolutely.
That you can't trust the information that your brain's feeding you?
Yes.
Emotionally,
for sure.
anyway?
Yeah. Yeah. Because you want to be able to like have that, you feel that anger and you're like, oh, you know what? Something's happening. I need to do something about this. But we need to question those things.
Or anxiety.
Fear. Any emotion that we have, we need to make sure it's aligning with reality. And a lot of the times it's not. And it does mess with your brain. It does kind of mess you up. And a lot of the times people who've been traumatized, like, people who have listened, who are listeners and like, such as myself, a lot of the times we really don't know what our emotions are trying to tell us because we've been gaslit, for a long period of time. So when we would bring up what our emotions were, how we felt, it's like, oh no, you're wrong. That's not okay. That's not accurate. And it's like, oh, well, is it? Is it not? So then, yeah, it's always a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Even after the fact.
You have to learn how to understand what your emotions are telling you about your environment. But then you have to learn how to decipher when they're in overdrive and when they're actually feeding you a correct signal. And then you have to look at the bigger reality of the big picture of everything else and say, even though this emotion is correct, I still need to take action and do something I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Which is where I think we should get started, which is motivation. Motivation is, we've done an episode of motivation. It's been quite some time now.
I think so.
Motivation, and a lot's been said about motivation, but I think probably the number one thing that people get wrong about motivation is that most people feel like you have to be ready before you take action, and you're going to know when you're ready.
Yeah.
You will get so motivated one day that you will just take charge of your life and you'll make changes and you'll accomplish every dream that you've ever had based on just feeling like it's the right time.
Well, think about things you might have seen on social media, or people, maybe friends have messaged you or something and say, oh, I'm just not feeling motivated today. I just don't feel motivated. Like, but that doesn't mean that you don't need to do what you need to do just because you don't feel motivated. Motivation is very short-lived, very short-lived. Like I try to motivate our community a lot to focus on self-care, a lot, all the time. Like I'm like, let's focus on self-care. Let's focus on it. And they'll be motivated for maybe a week, if that. And then it just goes back to where it was. It's a cycle. And this is kind of proof of what we're talking about. If you're in the community as a listener, when it comes to motivation, how you can only be motivated for a short period of time. That's when your action needs to take over. That's when discipline needs to take over. That's when your thoughts need to take over and not your feelings.
Yeah, you said it right there. Discipline's the key.
Yeah.
Discipline is the ability to do something when you don't want to do it, but you know you have to do it. You need to do it.
Right.
You know what's best for you. Motivation is so fleeting.
It is.
It comes and goes. It is finicky. There's some days where you will be so motivated and you feel like you can conquer the world. And then the next morning you wake up for no particular reason and you just don't have it.
Yeah.
But the thing still has to get done. Whatever it might be, whatever that is in your life, you know what that is, needs to get done regardless.
Right.
Man, one of my favorite speakers on motivation, and maybe a bit extreme, but I think David Goggins is probably like the
I love Goggins.
anti-motivation motivator.
Right?
You know, like he is
Yes.
incredibly motivating, but his thoughts on motivation are very bleak.
Yeah.
He says it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Motivation's bullshit. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline.
And that's motivating
Isn't
in a way.
it though?
It is.
It is. Because what it does, I think, and this should be incredibly empowering, is that it returns the power back to us to say, do you want something great, whatever it might be? Let's say that like me at one time in my life, like I want to be sober. I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good husband. I want to be the world's best dad. I want to be successful in business. I want to do all these things, and feeling like it's just going to come one day when I decide like, oh yeah, I think I'm done with that part of my life. And now it's time to go do all this wonderful stuff. It just doesn't work that way.
It's not the movies.
But when you hear someone say, I felt just like you did, but I just took action anyway, and I got everything I ever wanted, that should be an empowering message to everybody.
Absolutely.
Because everyone's capable if you just do the work.
Look at our story.
Just put one foot in front of the other,
Yes.
and you can do the work.
Yes.
And you will get exactly what you wanted.
Yeah.
Motivated or not, F your motivation. If you get it, it's almost just like icing on top. And there's some days where you get motivated and you have discipline.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man,
Those are the best.
you feel like you're unstoppable.
That doesn't happen all the time, though.
It's pretty rare.
It is.
Discipline's what carries you across the finish line.
Yeah, for sure.
Motivation may get you to the shoe store to buy the shoes for the race, but it ain't going to get you down the path. It's not going to get you across the finish line. That's discipline.
No.
But it should be incredibly empowering, I think, for people to hear that you don't need to feel motivated. So if right now you don't feel motivated, it's okay. That's perfect.
Yeah.
You don't need to feel motivated
Nope.
to take action in your life.
Nope.
And this can be anything that you want to do in your life. Like I said,
We'll get through that.
back
too.
up story real quick. I've said before, I always thought that there'd be some moment that occurred in my life that would get me sober. I thought that when I graduated college, I would just feel motivated to grow up and I would just be a professional and we would figure stuff out. And then I thought whenever we got married, I would feel motivated, like, okay, now it's really time to take charge. You promised her you'd be a good man. Now it's time to be a good man. Didn't happen.
No, it got worse.
And then the big one was kids.
Yeah.
It's like when our daughter was born, it's like now is the day.
That's my motivation.
But then what no one tells you is that kids are really stressful, and the last thing that you're going to feel is motivated when your kids are born.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I recognized that there was never going to be this magical moment where I felt ready. I was just going to have to take action, like it or not. And in fact, it kind of pissed me off because I thought to myself, I could have done this 5-6 years ago.
Right?
It's
Right.
like, damn, why did I wait so
where
long?
it's like, why did I have to wait? Why am I waiting for something external to save me when I could have just done it at any time in my life?
Yeah,
That goes with anything. That
that's
goes
the
with
bitch of it.
anything, not
Yeah.
just sobriety. That's just with growth and making changes within your life.
Yeah, so you don't need to feel inspired to start something. You don't. If you do, that's a plus. Get started right away. But you don't need to feel inspired to start anything. Like a lot of people when they lose weight, they start strong, motivated.
Oh, yeah.
Then they hit a wall. But the ones that have success stories,
Mm-hmm.
ask them what it was like. And they'll say there were days where I just kept going
Mhm.
and I didn't want to do it. And I cried on the exercise bike or on the treadmill like you've done
Yep.
many times.
Definitely
Didn't
have.
want to do it, but I just did it anyway.
Mhm.
And then afterward, what did you feel?
Amazing.
And motivation.
Yeah, I felt motivated. And you know what? Because also dopamine, we all like that feeling of dopamine that goes into
Love
our
it.
brain, right?
Love it.
That's
Who
the
doesn't,
feel good
right?
thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't just happen. It doesn't just magically happen. You have to take action. Your brain, it rewards the movement. So you have to take action in order to get that dopamine kick.
Yeah.
So you have to work out, or you have to do something that makes you happy, that does something for you, that fuels you in order to get that dopamine. It doesn't just come unless
Right.
you take a substance or whatever, but we don't encourage that. That's awful.
Yeah. Mark Manson said, action isn't just the effect of motivation. It's also the cause of it.
I love that.
Manson's a quote monster. He's amazing. But
I know. We've been putting a lot of his stuff in our
I
story
love his
lately.
stuff, man.
I do
Dude, how's
too.
he- just all day long. He's so talented with the quotes. But either way, that is
I'm just
so
like,
true.
I feel that. I do that. I do that. I love that. Thank you. Story.
Yeah, motivation is the effect of taking action.
Yeah.
Just take action. I don't care what it is you want to do. Another quick story. Whenever we started Till the Wheels Fall Off, we were not ready. We weren't ready. I knew that.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, I thought about this a lot today as we were talking about this, what we were going to be discussing. I'm like, man, we were at a point in our lives where we wanted to do something, but didn't know what it was. And I spent the better part of a year researching all different kinds of stuff that I thought would fulfill me, kind of behind the scenes. I kept coming back to a show. It's like, I've always wanted to do a show. It would just be great. And then what most podcasters do, I find this on Threads all the time. Threads is like where podcasters go to get motivated and then do jack shit most of the time.
You told me this.
They show up and they ask a trillion questions.
Mm-hmm.
What microphone do you have? What hosting platform do you use? How does this work? And how does that work? What's an RSS feed? How do you edit? What editing software do you use? How much does that cost per month? We did this in a weekend.
Yeah, we didn't ask questions.
A weekend.
Yeah.
Literally got online, Googled how to start a podcast, found a guy on Facebook Marketplace who sold us these 2 microphones and our first really shitty mixer.
Yep.
And didn't know what we were doing, didn't know how to edit.
It's not shitty.
Their first one was not good. And then, it sounded fine.
How many have we gone
figured
through?
it out. We're on our 3rd.
He
That's
does all
number
this
2.
stuff. I don't.
But either way, like I YouTube how to edit, figured that out in about 45 minutes. And we just started.
No, figuring out YouTube editing was a bitch.
No, I figured out how to edit audio. in 45 minutes.
Okay. You said YouTube.
Sorry.
so-
I got on YouTube to figure out how to edit.
Oh, got it. Okay. I
But
was thinking of myself. My
We
bad.
just started. We weren't even 100% sure what the show would be. I might go back and delete our first episode called What is Tufo, because what it is nothing like what we thought it would be, because
No.
we just started, and that's proof of it. We
I'm
had
not
no clue what
deleting
this thing
that.
would be.
I think that shows our growth and it shows where we came from and it shows where we were at that time. I think it wouldn't be genuine. It would be inauthentic if we went and removed that.
You're right. I guess it's just for me.
Maybe
thinking
change
back,
the title somehow or say this is you could always add like a something to
Probably
it, like to the
should.
description
Probably
or
should, but
whatever.
The point of the story is that we didn't know what it was going to be. We didn't have a perfect plan. We just figured it out.
This is how we roll in everything in our lives though.
Life's a dance. You learn as you go, right? Sometimes you lead
and sometimes you follow.
But it is. You
But
just
we
figure
really
it
don't
out.
ask that many questions. Like, think about when you went to treatment and you went to when you got sober. Like, did you ask a million questions?
No.
Or was it more of just like, I'm going to follow, I'm going to do what you tell me to do, and I'm just going to figure this out?
I just observed other people.
I'm an observer.
And I was like,
yes.
I'll figure it out.
Huge observer. And that's even whenever I went down my fitness journey, all the things. I'm like, I'm really big on just like, I'm going to figure this out because it builds my confidence up. I'm not going to ask a million questions because people can't give you the answers that you really need. You've got to figure it out yourself because that's what's going to build up confidence.
For anyone that's ever gotten into an ice bath, you know that the longer you sit there and think about it and stare at that water, the longer you're going to sit there and get stagnant. And the harder it is to take action. Just get in. Just start.
That's a good story too. This weekend.
You
Okay.
Just get in.
Okay. So, but I told you that I was going to get in the pool. It was 60 degrees.
If you don't have an
pool.
ice bath and you have a swimming pool
And it's cold
you
out.
have an ice bath.
Outside. You have an ice bath. Yeah. Unless it's summertime. But I was like, I'm going to do it. And then I was starting to get really like chicken shit. I don't like getting cold. I was telling you that I'm sensitive, like I'm a big baby and like I just don't know if I can handle it. And he was like, don't be a pussy, Paige. Like if you sit, and this is great. No, this is what I fucking love about you. And I think I love this about us because this is actually how I am. I'm really more Goggins style than I am more of a coddler. But I don't know if people really realize that because
Probably not.
Because I'm still a validator and I'm a really good listener, but I'm a mixture. I really want to push people. But he pushed me because he was like, if you sit in that, it's not gonna do any good. Like if you sit in that sensitivity mindset, if you keep telling yourself that's what you said, if you keep telling yourself that, you're not gonna do it. You're just gonna be stuck in that and you're being a pussy.
I didn't say pussy. I said you're being chicken shit.
No, you called me a pussy.
I did?
Yeah, you did.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty positive.
I'll take your word for it. Okay.
It's okay.
I might have.
But anyway, so I took that and I was like, you know what? He's right. So instead of going by my feelings of my sensitivity of being like, oh, I'm just too much of a little bitch to do this, I decided, you know what? F that. I'm going to get in and I'm going to do it. And you're going to do it with me.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing it together and it was amazing. I was like, okay, this really sucks. But I acted. I didn't go by my feelings. My feeling was, I don't want to do this. I'm too scared. I'm scared. But what did I do? I was like, okay, I'm scared. but I'm going to switch my mindset and I'm going to do it anyway. And it was great. I felt great the rest of the day. And then I'm like, I want to do this again.
Yeah. The longer you sit there and you let fear and like resistance grow in the space where action should be, the harder it is to take action. You fill that space with all of the doubts about everything, and you overthink shit, and you get too caught up in your emotions. And then what you've done is you've given your emotions power over you.
That right
And
there.
instead of just understanding that you're a high agency person, you have control. You get to control the outcome here, not your emotions, not external. You control the outcome. And most of the time, just showing up is good enough. Just starting is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
I said this in college. I was blown away as a kid who got like mostly F's in high school. I show up to college and I was dean's list every semester. And I was like, I'm pretty convinced all you have to do is show up and just like do the work, and like you'll get A's.
Yeah.
You don't have to be genius.
No.
You don't have to be great. You just show up and do the work. And that's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Just discipline, just show up and do the work when you don't want to do the work.
When you don't want to do the work.
Yeah. So you're never going to feel like it's the right time. That's just newsflash. It never happens. There will never be a day where you're like, the stars have aligned and it's the perfect time. That day doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. You have to take action, and you're going to regret it if you don't start taking action. But I want to talk about like the everyday things that we feel like we shouldn't do, but we do anyway,
Right,
because
people
we have to do.
You have evidence in your life right now that you're already exhibiting some of this. You just need to scale it. Like, walk us through these.
Okay, so
We do
brushing
this
your
stuff
teeth.
every day.
Nobody likes brushing their teeth. I mean, you like to because it feels you got to get it done.
Do you
but
think
it's
there's
like
anyone out there who actually does like
yeah, 100%.
really enjoy it?
Oh, I'm sure there's people who are like completely obsessed with it. That's cool.
I like the
Do your
feeling
thing.
of clean teeth.
Clean teeth, yeah, but like the process of it's a chore. We don't like doing chores,
Right.
but it's something that you have to do because if you don't do it, then you're gonna have problems down the line. Like you're gonna have really bad breath, or you're gonna have cavities, or you're gonna have just other health problems. So you have to do it. You don't feel
Halitosis.
like doing it, but you have to freaking do it. Going to work. A lot of people don't like going to work, but it's necessary. You have to do it to live. And
Bills pay.
you got to pay your bills. Yes. Exercising. We've talked about this. Not very many people feel pumped up to get exercise. Like sometimes I will. I know they tell you to do exercises that you enjoy, but guys, that is still short-lived. It is still short-lived. Exercise should be like drinking water. You need to do it every freaking day. It should be like eating food, whatever. But a lot of people don't feel pumped up to do it. But you got to do it anyway because your future health depends on it. Like not just your health now, your future health, your future self depends on it. So do it.
You get one body. And you get one body.
Guys, and I know that we talk about this a lot, but if you've seen our pictures or if you've seen my story and my pictures and the things that I've gone through, that fitness and exercise is a very big piece of my recovery because I was in very terrible shape and very terrible health when he was in active addiction and even years afterwards. So my health journey was just very, very important to my recovery. So if we talk about it a lot, that's why. And I think that exercise is extremely important for so many reasons. All right. Off my box there. Taking care of our kids. That's one thing that every day.
Oh man. Yeah.
Guys, if you tell me that you love to do everything for your kids nonstop, constantly, you love to make sure they're fed like perfect meals and you need to make sure you're awake at the same time, you're lying. Okay. We all it's hard. Parenting is really, really hard. And we don't want to wake up. I mean, we don't wake up excited every morning to like make sure like tantrums. Like let's say that they have tantrums in the mornings or they're like they wake up really pissed off. You got to do it even though you don't want to. Or a kid that throws up in the middle of the night. Okay. We don't want to get up in the middle of the night
to
go and do that. Like we want to sleep. Or kids that cry in the middle of the night. You don't want to do it, but what do? You just do it because you know it's necessary for your child's well-being.
Yeah, or 8:30 at night, and they come to you. Oh, I have to get poster board from CVS because of a project I have due, and it's like, you little bastard.
Yeah,
so but you have to do it.
Well, I don't know. That depends.
Well,
I'm a weirdo when it comes. Like,
nice one,
if my kid calls me from school and says that they forgot their homework, I'm not going to take it to them because they need to have those natural consequences of not having their homework.
At a certain age, you let them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's age appropriate. You can call me a mean mom if you want. Whatever. So we these are just everyday things that we do all the time. Laundry. We don't want to do laundry, but we have to do it. These are things that we don't want to do, but we do it anyway because it's necessary. So why do we act like major life decisions should be different?
First of all, I agree with you. Like they shouldn't really be looked at that much differently. I think it's just the gravity and the weight of some decisions are bigger than others, obviously.
Absolutely.
If I don't brush my teeth today, I can probably get away with it.
You can get away with it. Yeah.
You know, as long as you don't call me out on it.
Okay.
I can probably get away with it. But if I leave my family today, or if I decide to check into treatment today,
right.
It's going to affect other things. So the ancillary effects of that decision are bigger. More risk, I suppose you could say.
It's the risk.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it's heavier, but the principle applies all the same.
Yes.
It's all the same.
Right.
Doesn't matter what you want to do. That is all the same. We just treat it bigger and we ruminate on it longer, and then we sit in it longer. And then where action should be, you're filling it with rumination and anxiety and fear and angst and second guessing yourself and all this stuff that just delays it even further when you could have just taken action. Right. And it doesn't have to be a major action. I'm just talking about even just small actions with things that we may teach you within the podcast or something like that. That's an action too, listening and then taking action, small things to get you to where you want later on. Yeah. Like the best time, if you're a problem drinker, a problem with drugs, the best time to stop was yesterday, but the second best time is right now. Tomorrow is no good. Do it today, right now. Just do it.
Yeah.
There's no reason you can. There's no reason you can't do it. Just do it. Just start. Aristotle said this, and I love this. He said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. It's true. Think about the most successful people that you know in your life. Doesn't just mean monetarily, just successful. They're happy. They've got their shit together. What are they, if anything? They are persistent and they have discipline about it.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
For sure.
That's it. That's the recipe, really.
Yeah,
it's not that complicated.
It is. Okay, so you want to go on to the next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so are your feelings controlling you?
Let's get into this.
This is kind of like what I discussed earlier about how your emotions are real. They are there. We need to listen to them, but they aren't always right. If you let them drive your choices, you're going to stay in the unhealthy patterns for too long. So your feelings can trick you into staying stuck. So fear is going to tell you to stay where it's safe, even when the safe is miserable, because you're scared to take action because it's familiar.
Yeah.
Guilt is going to make you tolerate mistreatment because, if you leave, you'll feel selfish. Doubt convinces you that you'll fail, so you never even try. I've been known to do that a few times. And hope keeps you waiting for potential, even when the evidence says nothing will change. That's why we always talk about reframing hope and stuff. And we've talked about guilt and how sometimes you have false guilt in these relationships or just in general. But a lot of the times these feelings are going to keep you stuck because they're not based on reality. They're just based on what you think you feel.
Yeah. Feelings that are usually based on, how should I put it? I wouldn't say that they're not facts. Some of them are factual, but I think that most of the time that they are biased toward a belief that we're after or a conclusion that we want rather than what the most likely scenario is for us.
It's based on what the outcome that you want.
It's bias. It's cognitive bias toward
yeah.
one direction, like toward one outcome. I was thinking about hope the other day. Hope is like cinnamon to me. Stick with me.
Explain.
Stick with me. It just takes a little bit to be the right amount.
Okay.
Too much fucks everything up.
Okay.
None at all fucks everything up. Just enough. But if you're living just purely on hope, you probably got too much cinnamon in your recipe, and everyone that eats your chili is going to know.
Chili.
People put cinnamon in all kinds of stuff.
I put cinnamon in chili. Not very many people do that.
It goes in a lot of stuff, but a little too much screws stuff up.
I thought you were going to go with something sweet.
No, it's
I'm sorry, that threw me off.
It's one of those ingredients that you have to have just the right amount of.
Yeah. No, that's great.
And
I love that.
Be realistic with it, because it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Too much of it can be just as bad as none.
So we know how we talk about anger, right? And how it's important to listen to anger. And it is important to listen to anger, especially if you are in a relationship with somebody who is in active addiction and somebody is harming you. Like anger is there for a reason. It really is trying to tell you to take action, to do something about it. Not necessarily,
not sock them in the
yell
face
or be angry at them, like not harm them, but to do something for yourself.
It's trying to
get your attention. It's telling you that somebody is harming you and it's going against your values. You can listen to some of our anger episodes to really understand that. But these are some questions that you can ask yourself if you feel like your feelings are controlling you.
Okay.
Are my emotions making my decisions for me? Do I avoid hard choices because they feel overwhelming? Do I let guilt keep me in unhealthy situations? And do I hesitate to take action because fear convinces me I'm not ready?
Yeah, I would almost invert one of those and say, what are the things that I'm afraid to feel
Okay.
as well?
Yeah. A lot of people are afraid to feel grief.
I read a study today that said people that don't grieve adequately, don't grieve, like they just deny themselves grief,
Yes.
take far longer to heal than those that just allow
100%.
that.
Yeah, because you're still shoving it under the rug.
Yeah, but I think that you can deny a lot of emotions too. You can save yourself from grief of the end of a marriage or the end of a friendship if you quit drinking, or the end of an entire group of people if you change a habit that doesn't agree with whatever they're doing. And you can deny yourself grief by persisting in something that's unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like I'm afraid to feel that, therefore I'm not going to. It's almost like the opposite of letting your emotions control you. You're still letting the emotion control you, just from the desire not to feel it, as opposed to feeling it so much like anxiety, whereas anxiety, you're feeling it, and so you don't act because you're anxious. It's fearful.
Yeah.
You think worst case scenario, well I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. I'll never get a job. I can't support myself in this economy. Where are my kids going to go to school? You have all these questions. Or people who are trying to quit drinking, like, what do you do when you're fishing? Like, how do you ever watch sports again? Like, what am I supposed to do when I'm bored? Like, all these things that just drive your actions and behaviors. These are irrational thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not irrational feelings.
Mm-hmm.
They're irrational thoughts of the feeling. The feeling itself is just a feeling. Okay. Feelings are visitors. They come and go.
Yes.
I don't remember who said that, but that's a very popular quote. And I love that. They are just visitors. And so think of them that way. It's just here for a moment. It will go. But
you have to let it go. You can't just wait for it to go.
Oh yeah, it has to be like,
that's the thing,
I
because
recognize you. I know why you're here.
Yes.
I accept it, and then they will go away.
Well, you have to. Your thought process has to change, or you'll just stick in that feeling or that emotion for way too long, and it won't go away. It'll just sit there, and it'll get worse and worse and worse and worse over time because you overthink. So your thoughts can eventually control your emotions once you start to regulate it a little bit more.
There was a Hormozy quote. I can't remember the exact makeup of it, but the gist of it was basically, think about the biggest problem that you have in your life right now. Will it still be the biggest problem in your life 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the line? Maybe some of them are. Maybe it's something serious like a marriage or something, but maybe it's something that's not so serious that you still blow out of proportion.
Yes.
Maybe it's that you've got a leak in the house somewhere, and your floors are messed up and your cabinets are jacked up. And in the moment, it feels like this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I'm never like Tiger King. I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Yeah.
It's the biggest problem. But 3 years from now, you will forget about it.
You've trained yourself to get through those emotions.
I was born a catastrophizer.
Yes.
And I've had to learn how to do this. And I have to actually listen to the emotion. The emotion's real. My first emotion is fear and anxiety, and I need to control this. I need to get the situation under control. I need to make myself feel better by controlling the environment. What I've learned is that I'll do that. I always do that. So you'll get around to that, Matt. But first things first, you need to just acknowledge that this feeling will pass and you're going to be okay. And if you look back on it, what would you have preferred you'd done? Handled it calmly and taken control. And that's what I do now. And sometimes I have to sit there, and if you could see inside, you would still be like, oh, he's still real fucked up. If you could see inside of me, because serious? Inside it's still happening.
Does it?
I'm still, I probably always operate this way to some degree, but I have control over it now, where I can literally sit there and be like, yeah. Like the guy ran over the mailbox. You remember that?
Yeah. Yes.
Or no, actually more recently, I was taking the car into the garage and I left the hatch open.
Oh yeah.
I thought our son had closed it. He didn't close it. And I even looked back and I thought it was closed. It was dark out. And I drove in and I heard this crash. And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Old me would have lost it. Absolutely lost my mind.
You would have allowed your emotions to take over that situation.
Oh, I'd have been so mad. I'd have been so pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Just at everything.
Yeah.
It's going to cost so much to fix this. And there's no body shop that's going to be able to get me in, blah, blah, blah. Man, I was just like, he looked at me. He was like, oh, I'm sorry, Dad. And I was like, it's all right, buddy. It's an accident. But still a little part of my head was like, oh man, what if it does cost a bunch? What if this does suck? And I was just like, shut up, dude. It'll be fine. You'll probably just forget about it. And this is the first time I've thought about it since it happened. That was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like there was something else recently and I can't think of what it was where, oh, I didn't bring this up to you. Okay. We were cleaning up the turtle tank. Kate, thank you for helping me with that. By the way, he doesn't usually do that.
I was home.
I asked you to help me. And we have hardwood floors right there, and there's like water that's been just kind of sprinkling out a little bit.
It's like turtle juice.
It's like turtle juice. It's turtle water that's on the floor. That's kind of like it's messed the floor up. Okay, let's be real. The floor is messed up. And you did not like lose your shit on me. You didn't like, you were just like, do you think that this is going to affect the floor? Do you think we need to do something about this?
I was hinting like, you think we ought to try cleaning it maybe?
I don't think it's clean. I think
it's just fucked up.
I think it's fucked up.
The floor is just messed up.
Yeah, it's just fucked up. I said, yeah, we can get a rug and we'll just put it on. It'll be fine. It's no big deal because it's not that big of a deal. It's not that noticeable. Eventually it would become a big deal. But the way you handled it was amazing. And I was just like, okay, this is not like you didn't lose your shit.
Yeah,
like I thought you would have.
The reason I'm passionate about this topic, I know that you are too, is because this changed my life in so many ways. And this made me a better person. This made my life so much simpler. I am no longer like a victim to my first thought. I'm just like, I used to just be a passenger. Whatever came in there, I was all along for the ride.
Is it your thought or your emotion? Yes.
For me, I think that they both come at the same time. I think that first it's the thought and that triggers the emotion for me.
Okay.
And so if I change my thoughts, I can actually change my
your
emotions
emotion
about it. It's like Wayne Dyer's book, change your thoughts, change your life. If I can change my thoughts around it, I can reframe things and it completely changes my emotional state about it. So I think it's the thought.
Okay.
And the thought is, we'll figure it out. We always do. Like, okay, there are more important things to worry about than whether or not like 1 foot of floor is a little miscolored. It'll be fine. It's okay. Like we'll figure it out.
Mine's the opposite. Usually I have the feeling first and I want to act on that.
Oh, interesting.
Instead of the thought. I'll have a feeling that's like kind of like.
Is this like right brain versus left brain kind of stuff?
I don't know. This is something to dig into, babe.
Interesting. Huh. Well, I don't know. I think that there are some things in life that you have to take seriously. And there are so many others. And I kind of fall into this category where I do really well with big things that go wrong, like big problems. Someone's, got some serious going on. I work really well like under pressure in those kinds of moments.
Mm-hmm.
The little stuff throws me off track.
Oh yeah.
What I came to learn about myself was that my first thought is not my friend. Is not my friend. My first thought is never my friend because my first thought is a reaction from an emotional place. And I don't sit in it and I don't take it seriously. I just sit there for a second until it's gone. And I think, what ought I do? What action should I take? Viktor Frankl said this, and I love this quote. Between stimulus and response, so the event that caused the feeling and the response, there's space. And that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Mm-hmm. It is quite literally the ability to choose our responses. This should be the most empowering thing you've ever heard in your entire life because no matter how you feel right now, you can still take action. Mm-hmm. You can still, with the rational mind, you can still take action. Yeah. Against all the emotions that you have. And I know they're big. I'm not trying to minimize what you're going through. No. I know it's tough. We have a lot of listeners to the show who are dealing with like what they feel
really
is
heavy things,
like life or death for them or for someone else. And listen, it is not lost on me whatsoever. I understand that, sympathize with that. You have the power to choose what your next action is going to be.
Absolutely.
Your emotions don't have to dictate everything that goes on in your life.
No, and it's intentional too. And that's something that it takes a lot of intentions to do this. Like it's hard. It's not simple. Like it sounds like it's simple, but it's really not. It's a difficult thing, but it takes a lot of practice that once you get the hang of it, it's like really life-changing.
I got one more quote on this one. Michael Singer from The Untethered Soul. There's this quote in the book. You are not your feelings. You are the observer of your feelings. We're like our brain, we don't exist without it. And so that's all we know is our frame of reference for how we feel, and it controls everything that goes on in our body. But we are not our feelings.
No, we need to challenge them.
You separate yourself from them for a moment and just consider yourself that you're an observer of your feelings. I do this exercise where I take myself above myself out of like if I had a camera in the room and I look at myself from that perspective. What does he do next? That's what I ask myself. What does he do next? Instead of when I feel overcome with emotion.
Right.
What do I do next? Yeah. Don't let my emotions drive my behaviors.
I love that practice.
And hey, it's not a perfect practice. That's why it's called practice. Okay. You will have days where you flip out. It's going to happen.
Yeah. We still
Learning
do.
opportunities, man. They will happen. It's okay. It's all right. You'll have
Own
those
them.
days. Yeah. Just own it. Like, okay, I can do better than that.
Yeah.
I can acknowledge I can do better than that.
Yeah. You don't have to spiral back down. You don't have to go back to where you were
It
just
doesn't
because
mean that
you made a boo-boo.
failed or like it's not linear. Okay.
No.
This is not one of those things where a switch flips and you're better forever. No, you just get better at dealing with it over time. You get so much better at dealing with it. And then you start making progress. You start to do things that you actually want to do in life. You're not just succumbing to every emotion that you have. You get to live with intention.
Right. So instead of living your life based on emotions or whatnot, let's lead with values instead of emotions, because a lot of people want to lead with emotions instead of values. But this is how we can break this down for you to help you kind of take this to the next level. So don't just base your actions on things that you truly value.
Yeah. And if you don't know what your values are.
Yeah, if you don't know what your values are, we had a whole boundaries setting episode series. There's 3 episodes. We did this a couple of years ago that I think it still stands on boundaries. And the very first thing you need to learn about are your values, or just Google it too. Google about your values, what you want. It can take some time to figure out what your values are, but it's somewhere to start. But that's what's going to lead you in life, not your feelings or emotions or not other people telling you what to do. It's actually going to be your values. So let's say that let's say you value self-respect. Don't tolerate behavior that disrespects you. Just it's kind of that simple in a way.
It is that simple.
Like you really just look at it like that. If you value growth, stop waiting for motivation and take action. Like you can't just wait for that feeling to come around. If you value growth, you need to actually do the things. You need to read the books. You need to journal. You need to learn. You need to, if you have health as a value, that's another one. Don't sabotage yourself and say, I just don't feel like doing this today. No, you need to do it if you value health. If you don't, you're going to go against your values. And then that's when those negative emotions are going to come in, because that's what it is like whenever all these negative, uncomfortable emotions come in, we all are going to have them. But a lot of the times it's based on not living by our values. So you just got to swap it. Yeah. Shift it around.
I knew this guy who had $150,000 land in his bank account. Didn't know why. It was a wire. Came in. 150 grand sitting in the account. Called the bank. They were like, we don't know. No idea. No clue why it's in there. So he calls me and he's like, there's 150 grand in my account and it's just sitting there. It's like, what do I do with this? We talked about like, we can all just take it to Choctaw and or Vegas and put it all on black and see what happens and whatever. But we were joking, obviously. But I was like, so what are you going to do? He's like, I'm going to send it back. I'm going to figure out how to send it back. I'm going to send it back. That's the right thing to do here. Just period. Core values, like a lot of times companies have what they call core values. Mm-hmm. And it's what I thought it was a bunch of foo-foo bullshit yoga babble that they put on the wall behind the reception's desk. Like, this is what we stand for. But no one actually stands for that crap, But the good ones, and people should live their lives this way too, whatever your values are, every decision that you make if you're confused about a decision, ask yourself, what do the values say? Yeah. Does this agree with my values? And if it doesn't, you don't do it. And if it does, you do it. It's that simple.
Yeah. Not your feelings.
Not your feelings.
Not your feelings.
Your values.
Your values.
Because in that moment, he felt like, I'm broke. I could really use this money. I mean, if no one knows it's gone, they probably would have figured it out at some point, right? Someone's going to come looking for that at some point. And they did like 2 weeks later. Right. But yeah, like you want to do something with it, but you don't, because your values say, I value honesty. And what's the honest thing to do? And you can help guide your actions in ways that you can be proud of. And when you lay your head down at night, you can say, I lived authentically. We've said that before. Living authentic is nothing more than choosing values that you believe in and living as close to them as possible. That's all it is. Didn't say anything about emotions. There would be days where you value growth, but you don't fucking feel like growing. You feel like crying. You feel like laying around. You feel like eating Oreos, doing a line of Oreos, right?
Doing a line of Oreos.
Real ones know.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's where we should be focusing most of our energy is what do the values say? And if it agrees with my values, then I do it. And if it doesn't, then I don't. And it really is that effing simple.
Yeah.
It really is that simple. Mark Manson said this, if you always listen to your feelings, you'll be enslaved by them. Acknowledge them, but act based on your values.
Yes. Act based on your values.
Acknowledge your feelings. I'm not saying ignore your feelings. You can acknowledge them, but your feelings are not always going to agree with your values. They're just not.
Like Layla Hermosi, I sent you that video today. Yeah. I think that she's got a motto of, I wish I'm going to totally butcher this, but it's like, fuck your mood, follow the plan. And it's basically like your mood should not be dictating what you want in life. Your mood is going to come and go. You're going to shift. If you don't feel like doing something, what is the plan? What is the end plan? What is your end goal? Do whatever gets you closest to that goal. And then you'll be proud of yourself. And then you're building up confidence. And then you're getting that dopamine kick and you're doing all the things instead of just sitting in it in your mood. Like we all get moody and we feel like we just need to sit in that mood and not do the stuff. Like Matt and I have times where we don't want to record. Like we're just because our schedule is crazy. We have a lot going on in our life right now. And we're just hanging on by a thread sometimes.
Yeah, it is almost midnight right now. Yeah, on a Monday night.
Yeah, we're not caught up.
Night.
We got caught up for 1 week, and that's it. And we were back to where we are. But that's okay. Yeah. But I shifted my perspective tonight because I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I don't really want to do it. But you know what? I want to do it because I need to do it because we promised ourselves we were going to do it, and we want to be here for you guys. And we also have a plan. Like we said, 5 years of doing this, and we're going to stay consistent. And that made my mood shift because it's not about sitting in your feels and being like, oh, I just don't want to I've had nights where I'm just like, I just don't want to. And then I sit in it and you know what? That's no good for anybody. That's just being a pain in the ass. That's just I remember there was something that I had huge self-awareness of whenever I was in therapy many, many years ago. And I had been told that my mood affected people. Like people felt like they were kind of uncomfortable. Like you would tell me you go somewhere and people could feel my mood.
You're one of those emotions on your sleeve kind of guys.
I really, really am. And I'm really working on it. And I've kind of I've been opening my eyes to this a lot more where it's like, I don't want to be that person and I don't want to sit in my feels or be moody or whatnot because that's just not who I am. That's not part of my values. My values just do what you need to do to make sure you're going to grow. Growth is one of them. So I need to shift my mood and shift my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. If
I shift my thoughts, my mood shifts. You can't wait around for your mood to shift for your thoughts to shift.
No, you could be waiting around for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like truly, you really could.
Take action.
Yeah. James Clear said that your emotions are real, but they are not instructions. Your emotions are not instructions. You don't listen to them. Don't listen to them all the time.
I think you need to observe them because sometimes they are valuable.
If someone has just berated you in your house in front of your children and you feel angry, pay attention to that anger.
Absolutely.
It's trying to tell you something. The next day you feel scared because you're like, I know I need to get out of this home, but I'm scared. Mm-hmm. Don't listen to that emotion because if you go back, what was the value telling you?
What's your value?
You value respect. You were disrespected. You value and honor honesty in a relationship, and you're not getting that. Walk away from it if it's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like surround yourself as well with people who share your values.
Those
are the best relationships.
Your values, not towards your feelings. They are not telling you exactly what you need to be doing. They're just not.
No, they can give you signs at times, but you need to if there's a confluence between the value and the feeling, it's worth taking note that emotion is just a visitor. It's just a visitor. Okay, just a visitor. Just chill out. Because if you apply the logic of emotions, then every time I took drugs and I felt happy, I should just keep doing that, man. Right? Yeah. And we all know that's not right.
Right.
It's not. The feeling was just there.
That's all I got.
What? For real?
I think so. Yeah. We've already we had our own conversation.
I thought we had another segment
stuff.
here. Okay. Well then. Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, I guess you don't, we kind of talked on this, like you don't have to overall haul your life overnight. You just have to take the next small step, which is what we say is that you can't it's not making a change like that. It's just making small steps towards whatever your values are.
Yeah. Just brick by brick this thing, man. Brick by brick. You can make tiny, even if you have to start small, tiny little actions consistently, day in, day out. That's how things get done. It doesn't get done all at once, but just start. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, just start. If you're wanting to build a new career, you're wanting to build a business, just start it. Like, that's the best
You don't have to
advice
have all the answers.
I can give you. Just start. You will figure this out. Just start. Get some really basic things in line and then just get started. That is, ask anyone who's ever been successful in business, how did you do it? And just got started. We figured things out.
It's not waiting for the right time or the right feeling to make sure everything is in place. That's just not how it works.
No.
You'll stay stuck for a long time.
If we would have just sat around for the perfect time, the show wouldn't exist.
No,
The show wouldn't exist. It wouldn't. There's no
we
way.
literally
in hell.
just like, woo, jumped right in.
It's like, we got to do
That's
something.
how we do everything.
Let's do it. That's how it works. That's generally how it works. So the next time you feel overcome with emotion, overwhelmed by your emotions, remember this conversation. Does that emotion interfere with your values? And if it does, that's a visitor. Is that emotion telling you something about your values, like your values are being obstructed or violated? Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Remember that. They can be good signals that come from us, from our brains, from our bodies and what we're experiencing, but they are not the end all be all. They do not get to decide what we ultimately do. Our actions can be separate from our emotions. Difficult, yes, but it is possible. I promise you that. Talk to anyone you know that you admire and they have a story similar to this. You will not find anyone that you admire who is successful, who's done anything in life that is worth talking about, that has sat around and let their emotions guide every decision they've ever made. You're just not going to.
Yep.
You're not, man. I hope this is helpful. I hope that for some of you, I think it's fitting because I know that underneath it all, we can talk about addiction and things like that. I don't want to right now because this is a concept that applies wholly to your life from the time that you find us until you stop listening to us 10 years from now. You will remember conversations like this. This is applicable. This is the kind of crap you can teach your kids. This is important stuff in life. This isn't just apply to your relationship today, but it does apply in that as well. If you're in a bad relationship, if you're in a toxic relationship, if you're with someone who's treating you poorly, who is emotionally or physically abusing you, or if you're like me and you want change in your life, just start, take action, get yourself to safety, start looking at what it would take if you had to live somewhere else for a while. Look at treatment centers, start to get some help, ask for help, whatever it is, just start today. You're never going to feel like it's the right time because the right time doesn't exist. Your emotions are never going to give you that day where it's like, okay, the skies have parted, the schedule is clear, you have motivation, now it's time to work. Because on that day, you're probably just going to want to enjoy not feeling worked up. Just take action when you don't want to do it and then get used to doing that. That's how discipline's built, and discipline will carry you across the finish line.
Boom.
All right. That's all we have for this week. Thank you for joining us. Till next time, I'm Matt.
I'm Paige.
And we'll see you.
Bye.